The Coach Kevin McMillan Show is brought to you by BSN Sports.
Welcome to the Coach Kevin with Coach. UT Martin coming off a pair of wins over Morehead State and Tennessee Tech. Coach, let's look back at the Morehead State game. Going into that game, you knew you would be without two starters, Elizabeth Massengill and Asia Jones. And my first thought was how nice it is to know that two freshmen have much that you're going to miss them going into this basketball game.
Yeah, we were worried. Two freshmen that are giving you that kind of minutes, I guess when you look at it back now, you do feel really good about what they've been able to contribute to us. And we were playing really well. So to lose them both for that game made us all nervous. Because we've got players that can come in and very, very fortunate that Shea Cross came in for Elizabeth and played really well, and Tiara Caldwell came in for Asia and played really well, and Chelsea Roberts came off the bench and gave us some huge minutes. Megan White, I think, started in place of Elizabeth and had a big game for us. So it was nice to see some other players that can contribute that actually did.
Truly the team concept. You took the lead 43-28 in the first half and rolled on to the 74-52 win. And in the last two games, we've seen Heather Butler and Jasmine Newsom just take over offensively. In the game, Heather had 26, Jasmine had 19.
Well, and what's interesting about that, Chris, is their shot attempts aren't going up. They're even to going down, and I think that's a function of a lot of different things going on with us. One, that we're pressing, and I think the kids are a little more intense and focused in what they're doing. And two, more selective about the shots that they take, and I think that the post players, Asia Jones in particular, that's taken some pressure off of them, is letting them relax and play a little more on offense with not as much pressure. They're shooting better shots, and she's taking that heat that's going to get them more open. So I think there's a lot of things going on, but you love seeing those numbers go up and the shot attempts don't.
And Coach, you look at Katie Schubert that night, and someone said to me just last night that you can really judge a player how good they are in some of their games where they don't play very well, maybe offensively. She just goes 1 for 6 from the field, 1 of 5 from three-point range. But what else did she do, Coach? Schubert with 8 rebounds. She had 3 assists and 4 steals. So the kind of player that's not offensive sensitive where it affects the rest of her game.
I refer to Katie as glue because she figures out how to keep this whole thing together. Butler and Newsom can do their thing. Asia's starting to do her thing, and so Katie kind of looks around and figures out where she needs to plug in, and does a phenomenal job. What I want from Katie, what we want from Katie, is instead of 1 for 6 to be 3 for 6 and 3 for 5 from three-point range, and end up with 13 points and 8 rebounds, because now player, and Katie can do that, and that's what we're hoping from her. But she doesn't turn the ball over. She gets the ball where it's supposed to be when it's supposed to be there. Just so many little things that don't show up on a stat sheet, but then she does fill a sheet from a lot of categories.
And offensively, with Butler and Newsom, I mean, you can't cheat when you're guarding them. You have to stay on your man, and obviously Asia's drawing the coverage inside. The third and fourth person on the floor, or the fourth and fifth person beyond those three, are going to get some open shots.
Yeah, and Katie, Megan can knock those down. Elizabeth is a scorer that hasn't figured out yet how to score in that role with 2 out here that are doing this and 1 inside doing that, and she's kind of trying to figure out how to plug in there, and but she can do it, and it's just a matter of her making her mind up that that's what she's going to do. Megan White's going to get open looks, and she knocked a couple down in this game, and she knocked 1 down in the next one. So there's a lot of different people that can come in, and it's just a matter of figuring out when and where you need to help your team.
In this game, among Heather Butler's 26 points, she goes into the paint and throws one up, gets fouled, hits the shot, and becomes the OVC's all-time leading scorer. I thought it was fitting that she did that on a difficult shot.
Well, and what that young lady's done for UT Martin women's basketball, for UT Martin, the university, for women's basketball in this area, for the OVC, it's phenomenal, and continue to raise standards, meet expectations, beat expectations. I mean, just constantly. And the greatest thing about those guys is, and that this senior class that Megan included, is that none of them care about anything but winning and us being the best we can be, and things will fall where they may. And when you've got Butler and Newsom willing to do that, and then you've got someone like Megan who's also willing to do that from a totally different perspective, you're going to have a special group, and that's what we've got here for these last, or what we've had for these last 3 years.
With Heather now the all-time leading scorer in the OVC, one of the tops in the history of NCAA women's basketball, I'm just curious for our fans. Now, you coached her before coming to UT Martin. Do you remember the first time you saw her play basketball?
Yes, my wife saw her play before junior high and played against Medina and Heather, and so she remembers her earlier than I do.
7th or 8th grade, maybe?
I think it was the 6th grade.
6th grade.
She saw her, and it might have been the 7th. It probably was the 7th, the summer of her 7th grade year. But then the first time I really laid eyes on her was when I walked in the Gibbs County gym for that first practice. And you could see, okay, this kid's going to be really good.
Freshman year?
It was her freshman year.
Same height as she is now?
Oh Lord, yes, she hasn't grown, and she hasn't grown since she was a 4th grader, I don't think. But we had some battles, stubborn battles about shooting, which is so comical. And since she decided she's going to shoot it and be a scorer, she's just rewritten the TSSAA record books, NCAA record books, OVC record books. It's just unbelievable.
You told her if she didn't shoot the basketball, she would sit on the bench with you.
Yeah, I sat her out in practice one day. I said, "You're going to shoot. You have to shoot for us to be successful." And she said, "Coach, that's not what I do. I don't do that." And I said, "Okay." I told her to go over and sit down, and we started practicing. And we kept practicing, and finally she said, "Okay, I'll shoot it." And we never had another issue with it. And but she just didn't want that responsibility. She wanted to be the team player, to get dishing out all the time, doing this. And I was like, "That's fine. You keep doing that all you want, but you got to shoot it too." And she literally has taken it and put it on a level I didn't see.
Yeah, double digits in every game she's played as a UT Martin Skyhawk. From the outside, it appears that you've made her a better player, obviously, but she's also made you a better coach. How has she made you a better coach?
I don't know how much of a better player I've made her, because she's one of those kids that's so motivated internally. She wants to be the best. I'm not so sure that Mickey Mouse couldn't coach Heather Butler because she is so driven to be the best that she can be. She's going to figure it out. I mean, I would love to take credit for everything Heather does. What she has done for me is pushed me as a coach to try to stay out in front of her. Mm-hmm. If she wants to be the best she can be, then what I want to do is always be challenging her to be her best. Well, when she meets some challenge that I put up, I got to do another one. She meets that one, I got to do another one. So I'm always trying to stay ahead of her, which pushes me as a coach. And when you put Newsom and Butler together, I'll be honest with you, a lot of times I feel very inadequate as a coach. But they do. They constantly challenge you.
But you don't let them relax either. I mean, even if there is that. I mean, I know although I've never seen Heather Butler relax, I guess you're right.
No, but I do stay on them really hard.
Yes.
And I'm picky on those two about things that I'm not picky about anybody else with. If they miss a shot from that I think they should have made, which is probably every one they take, I'm going to get on them about it. And I can't do that with everybody else because they're not ready for that. They think, oh, I better not shoot if he's getting on me about it. Well,
right.
Those two have figured out how to keep playing and take that and just run with it. And but yeah, I'm on those two pretty hard.
Let's talk about the game with Tennessee Tech. You have Massengill still does not play, but Asia Jones back in the lineup. And the phenomenal thing about this game with Butler, Newsom, and also Asia Jones, they combined for 90 of your 102 points.
Yeah, that's.
Coaches probably don't like that.
That's unheard of.
But my goodness.
Well, again, but it wasn't. The shots weren't crazy.
Right.
Butler and Newsom combined for 41 shots. Well, that's not out of the ordinary for us. They're going to average about 35 to 45 shots every game. Well, they took 41, and Asia only took 8.
7 of 8 from the field.
Yeah, she's 7 of 8 from the field. So it wasn't. There weren't crazy numbers. We shot the ball really well that game as an entire team, and Butler and Newsom were just. I mean, they just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And if you get that kind of performance from them every game, you're going to be pretty tough to beat. But if you look down there, you see, Katie's 1 for 1,
mm-hmm.
Megan White's 1 for 1, 1 for 2 from Charisma Tyson. So what that does to the other team is they're saying, okay, we can't help because whenever we help, they kick it, somebody hits it. So we might as well not help and make Butler and Newsom make tough shots. Well, they're usually going to make tough shots. But that was a big win for us, getting Asia back in the lineup. kind of got a little bit of a rhythm to it, and still didn't have Elizabeth in this game, but starting to play better. Did okay on the boards, got hurt early, but then kind of figured it out. Had 21 assists, which I really liked. Had a few turnovers late, but overall, we didn't play, I think, as well as we had been playing, but we shot the ball better than we'd been shooting it, so it looked like we probably had one of our better games, but I really don't think that's the case. I think we just shot the ball really well.
And again, 60% from the field, 59% from three-point range. And in a 28-minute stretch, those three players, Jones, Butler, and Newsom, had 76 straight points. That's the big three. Well, you know what we've always seen, though, Coach, with very successful NBA teams, there are usually three players who potentially can hurt somebody offensively. And in the last couple of years, you've had Butler and Newsom, but you've always wondered who that third player was going to be. This season, Asia Jones has stepped up.
Yeah, I think Asia's the third right now. The thing about those great NBA teams is fourth, fifth, sixth was a John Paxson from the Bulls who went in the game with 12 points and go 4 for 6 from three-point range.
Right. Or Steve Kerr would hit the game winner when needed.
Yes, and those are the things that we're looking for right now, because we feel like Asia's gotten pretty consistent. You know what Butler and Newsom's going to do, so now it's kind of like who's going to be that fourth, fifth, sixth that's going to put us up on that next level. We didn't have that last year. I think 2 years ago we had the fourth, fifth, sixth scores, but we didn't have that third. It's kind of weird to say it that way. But
no, it's true, because it would 4 or 5 or 6 would be the third, but you never knew when.
Yes, and you didn't know.
And if you did not get it, you usually didn't win the game.
Right. So, I think we've got the third now, and she's coming from the inside, which is great. And we're looking for the 4, 5, and 6 kid that's going to say, okay, I'm going to get 8 to 12 on 4 to 5 shots, and plug into that, and that makes you really, really hard to beat, because now 1 or 2 or 3 could drop a little bit, but the other ones are going to step it up. And I think we've got plenty of kids to do that. It's just making sure that they can get done. It's kind of like Asia wasn't doing this early in the season.
Right.
I hate this. It happens to us every year. Let's go back and play the beginning of the season now with Asia doing what she's doing, and a lot of different outcomes. Now, every team can say that, but for some crazy reason with us, it's always very pronounced at the end of the year.
But did you change, or did she change?
Both.
Okay.
We changed kind of what we're doing. We decided to throw her the ball, but not much more.
Yeah.
She's the one that's kind of stepped it up and put it on another level and said, no, I want to bring it every game. And that's been the major change, because we've made a concerted effort to throw the ball a couple of times each half. Well, we didn't do that early. Well, Chris, you're only talking about once or twice.
Right.
That's not going to take you from 5 points a game to 19 points a game. You're going to do something, and she has really, really done a great job getting on the boards.
Better defender and rebounder.
Figuring out a way to finish in transition, getting a couple of deflections and steals, and turning those into points. I mean, she's done a great job, and it's basically been her.
I don't know what your deflection stats are, because it's not on the box score, but she's got to be one of the tops on the team.
She gets a lot. She and Katie.
Yeah.
Katie gets an unbelievable number, and how I don't know. But Katie and Asia are really, really good at getting deflections, which lead to steals or lead to disrupting the other team's offense.
And I know who the leading player with kicks on the team. Jasmine kicks the ball at least twice a game. Does she want to play soccer?
I think she wants to play soccer. I think when she finishes up, she's going to try to be a soccer player, because she does. She gets a ton of kicks.
She kicks the ball on time. We'll take a break and come back with our second segment on the Coach Kevin McMillan Show.
At this time, we would like to thank our basketball corporate donors. Carey Insurance, Dynamix, Parker Hannafin, State Farm, Surgical Associates of Martin, Vans Institutional Pharmacy, Walmart.
Back with Coach Kevin McMillan. UT Martin set to take on SIU Edwardsville and Eastern Illinois, a couple of home games coming up. Coach, tell us about SIU Edwardsville coming in here Saturday, a team that in the past has given you problems.
Yeah, they've been really big and physical the last couple of years, which is the kind of team that bothered us. They're still very, very, very physical. They're not as big as they were. They lost their 2 big kids inside, but they're still very physical and will pound you on the boards. I don't remember who. Morehead, maybe somebody they beat like 55 to 20 on the board, some crazy number like that. So that's a challenge for us always, especially with the little guards, that you can pound us inside. So we're going to have to figure out how to kind of, keep that from being a major factor. Maybe pressing will bother them a little bit. Maybe switching up defenses might keep them off a little bit off balance. But they're a team that the way they play that has bothered us because they're so physical and big. So I mean, it's a big challenge for us. We're going to have to hold up the rebounding. This is a game Asia's really going to have to play well in. A game that Caldwell's going to have to play well in. Chelsea Roberts, Cortrice Golden are all going to have to play well, or we could get hurt inside.
Then Eastern Illinois will be the opponent Monday night again. They've been strong in the OVC for several years now.
Yeah, they graduated that big group that had been with them for so long, and so they've got some new faces out there. But people have said that they're extremely talented. I haven't seen them yet, just for a few minutes watching another game, but extremely talented, big, and can score. But hopefully that we can get the game going the pace we want it to be and have a better shot.
Coach, speaking of talented, your freshman Shea Warfield Cross performed the national anthem prior to our men's game on Thursday night at the Elam Center. And I think she's performed the national anthem at a WNBA game. Is that
at an Indiana Fever game?
Yeah.
She sure did.
Yeah.
She can sing.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going into drama for her career, and if you listen to her sing, you can tell she's got a future. Now where that leads, I don't know, but tremendously talented young lady. She sang before. She gave a speech at her high school graduation that she wrote, and I watched it, and it was absolutely
amazing.
Phenomenal. And it really was very, very mature, well thought out, just a tremendous speech that she gave.
And she had memorized it, and it was 2 or 3 minutes long.
It was.
And performed it flawlessly.
She did. So a very talented young lady that, I don't think we want her to sing before one of our games. I think that'd be a little distracting. But, anytime she wants to sing, Elwood Doss sings a lot, and I love him singing too. And I think she's a great substitute if he can't be there.
We should work out a duet.
Oh, that would be good.
Coach, with it being the Coach Kevin McMillan show, what's your hidden talent? Can you sing?
No. My boys and I, we all make fun of each other because I sing when I drop Matt off to school, and he's walking. Me and Allie sing to him out the car just to torture him.
So what song?
Mr. Mom.
Oh,
yeah. Me and Allie will sing Mr. Mom to Matt as he's headed to school, and you can see that his head just goes down. He starts shaking it, and
in front of his friends and stuff.
Oh heck yeah!
No,
that's why we do it.
Coach.
Yeah, and then when we get home, of course, Matt tattles on Daddy.
Yeah.
Said, Mom, Dad's singing. So no, I can't sing a lick, and I don't have any hidden talents. I don't think.
You can fish.
I fish.
Yeah.
I fish. That's not hidden though. I mean, ask Coach Russell. I whip him all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You're a better fisherman than Coach Russell?
Is this my show or his?
It's your show.
Yes, I'm a better fisherman than Coach Russell.
We have to go out in the summer and take the camera and just put that to the test.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
At a neutral body of water.
Neutral body of water. That would be fine. If we go to his holes, Coach Russell's a crappie fisherman.
Yeah.
And I'm not a crappie fisherman. So
are you a bass fisherman?
I'm a bass fisherman and a bluegill fisherman, and we'll go fishing for crappie, and he'll put me in the back. He's in the front. He's got all his poles out there, and he'll start catching fish. And it's very slight sometimes when they bite, and I can't tell. I couldn't tell. So I'm watching him catch fish, and I use this analogy with the girls all the time. I want to compete with him. So when I'm not catching fish and he is, I'm starting to pay attention to what he's doing. What's he doing? Where has he got his pole? What kind of jig has he got on there? When it bites, what's he doing? And so over time, I'll figure out how to start catching them to try to compete with him. And that's one of the things that we talk about all the time. If you're a competitor, you figure out ways to compete. And I'll take him bass fishing, and it's the exact flip. I'll be out there doing what I do, and he'll won't be long before he'll start catching fish, and he's figured out something that it's not that you fish the way that somebody else fishes, it's you figure out how to fish the way you fish in the setting that you're in.
Right.
So, but
what's the biggest bass you've ever caught?
I caught one a long time ago in Arkansas with my buddy. Wes Kennedy, who's the principal of Union City, we were going to fish in a tournament in Arkansas at Horseshoe Lake, right across the river, Mississippi. So we said, let's go over there and let's see what it's like. And we're just going to fish for an hour, just see what it's like. And then we got to go buy licenses and get all ready for this tournament. So we went over there and we fished. We were only going to fish about an hour, and we caught a little one. And then I threw by this tree, and there's all these big cypress trees in there. And as I was reeling it out, I saw a huge fish come up behind it, and I just kind of froze because it was that big. I don't think I should tell this because it makes me sound like I can't fish. When I saw it, I froze because he was so big. Well, when I froze, my bait stopped and started floating up. Well, he grabbed it, so it looked like I did it on purpose.
Wow, yeah.
Caught the fish, huge, huge. The game warden was out checking people and saw us catch it and came over to see the fish. Well, it's about 10 pounds. We never weighed it, but we took it up and put it up against the one that Kennedy had that was 9.5, and it was like a good 2 inches bigger. So we call it 10 pounds. So that was my biggest one then, and I caught one this spring that was about 9.5 down in Texas. Again with Wes Kennedy, we were down fishing at
He's your good luck charm.
He really is. He really is. Yeah. But by the way, the game warden, after he saw us fish and said, "That's a nice fish," and he was about to pull off, he said, "By the way, can I see your license?"
Oh.
And we were like,
"We don't have it yet."
So that was the most expensive. That was a $350 fish.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, $350.
Did you keep the fish?
He said we could keep it.
How'd you do in the tournament?
Well, after we didn't have the money to go to the tournament. We used our entry fee to pay
for
for not having a license.
10-pound fish.
And literally, we were going from there to get our license for the tournament. And we just said, we thought about going on the way. Nah, let's just fish real quick before the boats get out there, and then we'll get on. So we were like, oh, yeah. That's our luck half the time.
That's a good story. That's Coach Kevin McMillan Show. I'm Chris Brinkley for Coach. Thanks for watching.
The Coach Kevin McMillan Show is brought to you by BSN Sports. Thank you for your support of UT Martin basketball.